Welcome back to GBGuns, fresh in from Poland. We've got the Lynx Tac-762 coming up next on GBGuns. Sorry if you hear any background noise. The idea of the Lynx has Tacti-Kitty a little excited, so she's running around making lots of noise. So and I don't speak Russian or Polish, but I'm guessing this is Wytwórnia Broni Popinski, is this wonderful pistol. I'm going to get all of this out of the way and go straight to what comes in the box, because so far I'm already impressed. So you've got a WBP branded smoke mag. Atlantic Firearms has an AK manual of their own, which is pretty smart considering how many they sell and cover and how many don't come with any type of manual. So very cool of them to include that. Even has some marking guides. Good information in there. From WBP themselves, we have this small sheet manual that tells you a little bit about it, but it's in English. And then we also get a pretty cool inspection sheet. Once again, sorry, I can only guess at translating these. Polish is a Slavic language, but it's not close enough to Russian for me to guess a whole bunch of these. But I'm hoping that this means it all passed, and we can see that whatever this was, maybe one of you reads Polish, can tell us what this bottom spec is. But the maximum was to be 0.42 millimeter, and it was at 0.15 millimeter, which is pretty low. So hopefully everything's good to go. This is from December 11th, 2019. Got these in just before the new year, so they've been in country for less than a month. Let's take a look at the gun. Those of you that have been with us for a minute know that wanted to get Tia and myself a matching pair of AK pistols after going through the Center T course together. She found a newfound love for AKs, and well, that's an excuse for me to get another AK, so why not? We went for Zastava USA guns because, well, I loved the older Zastava stuff. Unfortunately, the new stuff turns out to not be of the same quality, and had a pretty terrible interaction with the company themselves. So we got rid of those guns, and at the advice of the folks at Atlantic Firearms, picked up some Polish guns, which I've never owned before. I've had Russian, I've had Romanian, of course American, but and Serbian, but never a Polish gun. And I gotta say, these, which are going, at least at the time of the purchase, for about $100 less than the Zastava, are proving to look like a whole lot better value. We'll start things off getting up close to take a look at the rivets. For those of you rivetophiles, what you're looking for is making sure that the rivet itself didn't get smashed on top, and there's no indentations on the receiver, and that everything is sitting flush. You'll notice while we do that we have an extended style safety lever. Love it or hate it. Some people prefer these and pay aftermarket for them. I've noticed that I can activate it with the trigger finger, so that is a plus. I know Dima, our instructor at the Center T class, didn't like these because they can snag on things. I understand that, but wanted to show it to you. Also see that the finish on that carrier is different. It has kind of a grayish with some scratches on it. I'm not sure if I'd call them scratches because it's only on the high spots following the lines of the carrier itself. Some people online have said that these WBP guns are not 100% Polish, that some of the parts are coming in from South Korea. If they are, I consider that a good thing, considering that your manufacturers in South Korea are Daewoo and Daesan, both known for modern production and high quality. I'm not going to complain one bit. Looking down below here, magazine release is a nice enlarged paddle. Has good spring tension, but not excessive. WBP Circle 11 marked lower handguard, and this gas tube cover / upper handguard, you notice has these lightning cuts in it and is railed on the top. This pistol weighs about a pound less than the Zastava guns did, so that's handy, and those lightning cuts probably had something to do with it, although it's hard to make aluminum lighter than wood. We have a thread protector that does have a tiny little tack weld there that's still in place. Gonna have to cut that if we want to use a muzzle device. It is locked on. Coming around to the other side, want to point out that the front sight post doesn't have a full hood. It's cut in half, and I think that's to help reduce the obstruction you'd have by mounting a reflex sight or red dot here. Now you don't have to worry about that hood being in the way. Nice laser etching of the Polish Eagle. Give you a look at those other rivets. The finish on this is really pretty. Very nicely done. Standard basic AK grip. It does feel different in the wrist, I want to say, than others. It's almost as if these edges aren't as sharp. I can't guarantee that or promise it, but maybe it's just the way the grip fits the hand, even though it's the same AK grip. Something about it doesn't feel as sharp in the corners as some of the other guns did. Next, we'll field strip it. Take a look inside the Lynx. Field stripping, of course, is like any AK. We're going to make sure it's clear. That action, by the way, sounds very solid to me. I don't know if it's from the aluminum on here or what, but it sounds a lot smoother and more solid than some of the other guns. Pushing on the button, we can lift up on our top cover. Top cover is serialized, indicating that it has been indeed sized and fit to this gun. Matches the serial on the trunnion, the serial on the receiver, and we'll get to some other parts. Push forward, up and out to get a recoil assembly out. And our bolt, see how it glid right out. Has some petroleum-based shipping goo on here that I haven't removed yet. Like I said, these are fresh out of the box. But you can see the metal has kind of a different color to it. The bolt itself is also stamped with WBP, Poland, and the year of manufacture. And I noticed in here that the track is smooth. You don't have all those machining marks that you tend to see in there. I was just commenting in a different AK tabletop about how it always looks kind of wallered out in there. Out of the box makes you think that it wouldn't run smoothly, and yet AKs always run regardless. But this doesn't have it. It's smoother manufacturing. Our piston has a little bit of wobble, as we come to expect. And there's that sticky grease. Looking inside the guts, we can see that this unfortunately uses that paper clip. It is a sort of different style of paper clip. Looks like two individual clips. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus in there. If you can see what I'm talking about, we're looking right here and right here. They appear to be separate, not one of those single piece deals. And I noticed that the pins, we got a little bit of movement out of this guy, but just a tiny bit and not coming any further. So we're not going to have any walking pin issues, hopefully. We won't know till we get out to the range. But the construction quality on this seems excellent. Even you look at the rails, how smooth they are. Lacking some of the gouges and coarse manufacturing marks that we've seen on other stuff. So if this does involve parts from overseas, they weren't using tired old machines. And that's kind of refreshing for an Eastern European AK. So we'll get it back together and we'll get this out to the range soon. Plan on running a brace and a reflex sight because there is no rear sight on this. Not even a mock rear sight. You definitely have to mount something or just use it point blank. I also noticed that that railed block there is of a different height than this top handguard. Before I forget, top handguard disassembly or stripping is a little different. You notice it's got this plate in here and there's a little hole right there. You take one of your ubiquitous Allen keys or anything else and push back. You can see the spring-loaded piece there moving back, and that is how you get the handguard up and out. It's a very, very snug fit. There's not a whole lot of play in this gun at all, but it's something different that I hadn't seen before in my amateurish AK experience, if you will. Sort of like when you miss the rail while getting the carrier back in place. So when we get to the range, we'll probably throw an optic on this. Not sure if we'll have a brace in time, but we'll see what works. I'm going to run a couple different loads through it, and of course the biggest question on AKs is magazine fit, because it is stamped and that's cut out, and magazines are made of different materials that require different wall thickness. We'll run a wide variety of mags, including of course the magazine that came with it, and let you know what fits well and what doesn't, in case you've got a favorite magazine type. But just out of the box, looking at it, this thing is beautiful and appears to be very well made. Time will tell. Thanks for watching.